Welcome to Dark Grays, where the unexplained meets the undeniable. From the chilling Allagash abductions to the eerie journey of Betty and Barney Hill and the shocking disappearance of Travis Walton, these are more than just stories. They are encounters that defy logic, shake belief, and leave us questioning what lurks beyond the stars. If you crave the truth hidden in the dark, you've found your home. Subscribe now and let's uncover the unknown together.
The four men sit around a crackling fire, shadows flickering. Jack expresses a feeling of being watched. Chuck suggests night fishing to shake off the paranoia. They grab their gear and head for the dark water. The forest whispers as they paddle away. On the lake at night, they cast lines into the black stillness. A low hum vibrates through the air. Jack notices a pulsing orb floating in the sky. The water ripples unnaturally below the light. A flash of white engulfs them. Everything disappears. A deep breath gasps into the void. Back on shore, they wake at camp, rods in hand, fire now embers. Confusion, fear. Chuck insists they've just got back. They return to their cabin in eerie silence. Jack lies awake, heart pounding, visions creeping in. What is happening? Flashback into an unknown room. Jack is paralyzed under a blinding white light. Tall grey beings loom over him, black eyes unblinking. A cold metallic instrument presses into his skull. A sharp needle descends into his eye. Back in the cabin, it's still night. Jack bolts awake, gasping. Jim does too. Jim whispers, "I saw them too." Charlie and Chuck admit they had the same experience. They sit in silence, shaken, realizing something is watching. Heading into the woods, Charlie paces, smoking in the cold. A crack. Something moves in the trees. A thin figure stands motionless in the shadows. The wind distorts, whispering unnatural sounds. A flash of light. Charlie is gone. Back in the cabin, still at night. The others wake to a high-pitched ringing. They rush outside. Charlie is missing. In the woods there is dead silence. The trees whisper. Jim turns, a shadow shifts unnaturally. A deep alien clicking sound grows louder. Jack's vision blurs. His memories flood back. Flashback into an unknown room. Cold fingers press into his skin. A sharp instrument pierces his abdomen. He screams, but no sound comes out. The grey beings observe, emotionless. A scalpel-like device peels his chest open, but there is no blood. A telepathic voice whispers inside his head, "You are ours now." Back in the woods, Jack collapses, hyperventilating. Jim and Chuck haul him up, panicked. A blinding light then consumes them. The air vibrates. Their bodies lift off the ground. Their screams dissolve into the night sky. Shore, dawn. They wake on the cold sand, shaken. Their bodies feel foreign, changed somehow. No memory of the missing time, just a deep terror. Jack looks to the sky. The sun shines, but the stars are still watching. On a New Hampshire highway at night, Betty and Barney Hill drive through the dark, empty mountain roads. In the car, Betty watches the starlit sky growing uneasy. A bright object moves unnaturally fast above the treetops. Barney grips the wheel tightly, his breathing shallow. Betty urges him to stop and look at the strange lights. On the roadside, still at night, they step out of the car, staring at the glowing saucer-like craft. A row of shadowy figures peer from the craft's windows. A deep, unnatural humming sound vibrates through their bodies. Barney panics, yelling, "They're watching us!" The craft descends rapidly. A blinding light engulfs them. Faint whispers and distorted clicking echo in the air. Back on the highway, it's still night. The Hills find themselves miles down the road, confused. The car's clock is off, 2 hours missing. Barney's shoes are scuffed, Betty's dress is torn. Their skin tingles. A strange residue is on their bodies. When the Hills are back at home, Betty wakes, soaked in sweat. Flashback. Into an unknown room. A shadowy figure approaches her, cold hands restrain her arms. Barney dreams of eyes, huge, black, consuming. Betty scribbles frantic notes, documenting her visions. Barney refuses to talk. His hands tremble at the mere mention of that night. In the therapist's office, Barney undergoes hypnotic regression. Flashback. Into a metallic room. Barney is strapped to a cold table, bright white lights above. Tall, gaunt figures hover over him, their black eyes unblinking. They insert a needle-like device into his groin. He screams in silence. Flashback into a craft. Betty is shown a star map, alien symbols pulsate. In a library, Betty researches star constellations, connecting them to her vision. Barney feels drawn to the wilderness, compelled by unseen forces, and enters the woods. He sees shadows moving between the trees, whispering his name. Back at home in the kitchen, the Hill's dog growls at nothing, eyes fixed on an empty corner. A sudden knock at the door, but no one is there. Betty finds a strange pinkish powder on her dress. Barney notices scars on his body that weren't there before. TV static morphs into alien whispers. The Hills go out onto the driveway. The same glowing craft appears, hovering silently. The car's radio distorts, emitting strange coded sounds. The Hills then go to bed. Betty wakes up and is paralyzed, unable to scream. A figure stands in the doorway, bathed in light. Flashback. Into a craft. They perform surgical tests, speaking in a telepathic monotone. Dawn. The Hills wake up outside, clothes disheveled, memories wiped. Betty stares at the sky, whispering, "They'll come back." When the government get involved, officials dismiss their claims, advising them to forget. Back at the house, a black car lingers outside, watching. Phone calls full of static. A voice whispers, "Do not speak." Betty collapses in a panic, sensing something inside her head. Barney feels watched, even in his own home. In a therapist's office, under hypnosis, Barney remembers the final message from the beings. Flashback into a craft. The beings tell them, "You will not remember until we allow it." A few years later, Betty and Barney drive, looking up at the sky, afraid. A bright light flickers above them once more. The sky fades to black. A final inhuman whisper echoes, "We are always here." Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. Night. A vast forest, endless and dark. The wind whispers through the pines. A full moon casts ghostly shadows. A pickup truck barrels down a dirt road. Inside, 6 loggers, their faces tense, exhausted from the day's work. In the pickup truck, Mike Rogers, crew leader, grips the wheel. Travis Walton, mid-20s fearless, sits in the passenger seat, staring out. "Travis, softly. You see that?" A strange glow flickers through the trees. The men lean forward, watching. At a clearing, the truck skids to a stop. The men pile out. Before them, a hovering craft, silent, glowing in an unnatural golden hue. Travis steps forward, mesmerized. The light pulses, wrapping around him. Mike shouting, "Travis, get back here." Too late. A beam of energy strikes Travis in the chest, launching him backward. He crumples to the ground, motionless. In the pickup truck, sheer panic. The crew scrambles inside, screaming. Mike throws the truck into reverse. Dust clouds rise as they flee into the darkness. As the truck speeds down the track, they find another clearing. The truck screeches to a halt miles away. Guilt-stricken, Mike turns back. Mike whispers, "We left him." They drive back, but when they return, Travis is gone. The clearing is silent. The craft is gone. Travis gasps awake. His eyes flutter, taking in his surroundings. In an alien chamber on board the craft Unknown Time, Travis lies on a cold metallic table. A viscous membrane coats his body. The air is heavy, sterile. Strange organic walls pulse like they're alive. Low humming vibrates through his bones. He turns his head and freezes. 3 tall, thin figures stand over him. Their skin is grayish-white. Their black, lidless eyes glisten. The beings do not blink. They study him, silent, emotionless. One lifts a long, insect-like instrument. Travis thrashes, his limbs paralyzed. The figures close in. A sharp metallic probe lowers toward Travis's abdomen. His screams echo unheard. His skin stretches unnaturally, pulsating like it's being rewoven. His mouth opens in a soundless cry. The instruments slide into his flesh, yet there is no blood, only a cold, suffocating pressure. With one desperate surge, Travis rips his arm free. He swings wildly, knocking over a tray of strange, glistening tools. The beings do not react, they simply watch. Travis stumbles off the table, crashes through a dark corridor. His bare feet slap against the cold floor. He enters a dimly lit chamber. Strange symbols pulse on floating screens. A tall humanoid figure, clad in a smooth, dark suit, stands before him, not like the others. Travis pleading, "Please, let me go." The humanoid does not speak. Instead, it gestures toward a nearby door. A blinding light engulfs him, a loud whooshing sound, then... On a highway, it's nighttime. Travis collapses onto the pavement, gasping for air. His body is frail, malnourished. A bright light vanishes into the sky. Silence returns. A passing driver slams the brakes, rushing to Travis. Driver, shocked, "My God, are you okay?" Travis tries to speak, but no words come. Only a single whisper. "They took me." Travis is taken to a nearby hospital. He lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, haunted. The doctors whisper. His vitals are abnormal. His crew visits. Mike looks guilt-ridden, shaken. "Mike, we thought you were dead." Travis meets his eyes. A shadow lingers behind his gaze. Travis whispers, "I wish I was." Eventually, Travis returns home. He lies in bed, the room too quiet. His eyes flick open. A shadowy figure stands in the corner, unmoving, watching. His breath quickens, he blinks, it's gone. After some time, Travis returns to the forest, staring at the sky. The stars pulse strangely. A faint humming sound fills the air. He doesn't run. He doesn't scream. He simply whispers. Travis softly. They're still watching. The trees sway violently, though there is no wind. The darkness moves. A blinding light flashes as a large craft disappears into the night sky.
That's it for this encounter, but the mystery is far from over. What do you think really happened to Betty and Barney Hill? Were the Allagash Four telling the truth? And what about Travis Walton? Was it a hoax or something beyond our understanding? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed these stories based on alleged true events, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a story. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.